r/AskReddit. What main character didn't deserve a happy ending? Jack from Jack and the Beanstalk stole the prized possessions of a stranger then killed him. On top of that, the wife never even knew what happened to her husband. There was a collection of retold fairy tales I read once. I think it was called The Wolf at the Door or something like that. That had the story retold from the wife's viewpoint. She ended up trying to find the guy that sold Jack the magic beans to bring her husband back to life. Those beach-ass kids on the Trix commercials. Let the ducking rabbit have some goddamn cereal. I kept wanting the rabbit to snap and beat the shit out of them. Same for the kids from the Lucky Charms commercials. I recommend looking up the Family Guy parody of the Trix commercial LOL. Sierra Burgess from Sierra Burgess is a Loser, a recent teen rom-com on Netflix. Spoilers: we are supposed to root for her because she's the poor girl that's a little on the frumpy side but has a great personality deep down. But she is an absolute shitbag the entire movie. She catfishes this poor dude who thinks he's sharing these deep special moments with Veronica, the hot cheerleader who experiences positive character growth throughout the movie. If anything, she deserved the hot guy. She pretends to be deaf when she has a random encounter with the hot dude so he won't recognize her voice. Horrible. She embarrasses the shit out of Veronica in front of the whole football game just because she saw the hot guy kiss Veronica, which is the girl he ducking thought he was dating, so of course he would kiss her. And don't even get me started on the scene where hot guy is forced to kiss Sierra when he thinks it's Veronica he is kissing. Disgusting. Absolutely none of this shit would fly if it was a dude pulling all of these stunts. No matter how many insecurities he had. And yet somehow she gets the guy at the end. Does he have no self-respect? Edit. I did not see Revenge of the Nerds edit. Wow. I always knew I would get my first gold by bitching about movies I hate. Dream come true. Thanks. Came here to write this. Catfishing is romantic now. K. TBH. The whole movie felt off. Bob didn't die for this shit. Chris Pratt's character in Passengers. He essentially stole the girl's entire future out of selfishness. I saw a video once that said his character would have made an amazing villain if the story was told from Jennifer Lawrence's perspective. It would start with her waking up alone on the ship and coming across some guy who claims that the same thing happened to him and that he doesn't know what happened. Cue the romantic build-up of her getting close to Pratt, who may be charming but might seem slightly off to the audience. Then the ball drops and she finds out that this man who she'd been bonding with the whole time actually trapped her there to suffer with him, stealing her whole life from her. It'd be pretty impactful and make an iffy sci-fi romance movie into a genuinely good suspense thriller. Ever since I watched it, I couldn't help but wish I could see the movie made like that. Totally stealing this from a past comment I've seen. But to add on to your storyline, movie climaxes with her ultimately killing Pratt after they have a hostile falling out, and the final scene is her sobbing years later while hovering over the controls to another cryogenically frozen male passenger, and ends with her pressing the wake button. That movie would have been an immediate sci-fi classic. Goldilocks broke into a house, stole food, broke chairs, messed up beds, then ran off. What a beach. Also, Jack, as of Beanstalk, nasty little ducker. In the original story, the bears mauled Goldilocks to shreds, you say? Darth Vader gets to live as a Force ghost happily ever after despite causing a galactic holocaust. Yep, he was a bad dude. Child murderer as well. However, I think the point of the message is anyone can deserve redemption as opposed to weighing your good actions versus your bad actions. They weren't children, they were younglings. Younglings are coarse, irritating, and they get everywhere. Logan Paul. I wish that it had just been a show. That would make me slightly less annoyed at humanity. The narcissistic douchebag with the inexplicably smart hot girlfriend does narcissistic and ouchy things show. Christian Grey and his equally irritating girlfriend wife. Regarding the girlfriend wife, I hate any character of that type, male or female, being considered insanely attractive for no reason whatsoever. They're not particularly attractive, talented, driven, or kind. They are blank, devoid of any defining trait other than absurd levels of passivity. Yet multiple people who are at the pinnacle of desirability, physically, sexually, financially, or all of the above, find them instantly irresistible. You get all the perks of achievement with none of the effort involved in reaching that status. 50 Shades is the female equivalent of those stupid harem animes. Me and my GF watched this out of curiosity. I like at the start when the awkward friend makes a move on her and Grey steps in to save her. He's like, stop, fiend. Only I am allowed to have rough degrading sex with this woman. Basically the entire cast of Chicago, minus Amos Hart, Roxy's husband, and the Hungarian prisoner, are not guilty. Duck everyone else. Every bad person gets a good ending. Every good person gets a bad ending. That's showbiz, kid. And I suppose that's what's brilliant about the ending. But damn does it feel unkind. Grandpa Joe, duck that guy. Charlie, I'm sick and stuck in this bed. Hey, I found this golden ticket. Oh, I'm totally fine. Let me dance and sing with you. Also, do I need a chaperone? Of course, all to cathedral happily. Also, notice how he doesn't sing we got a golden ticket. No, it's I got a golden ticket. Selfish duck. All Betty's stories have happy endings. That's because she knows where to stop. She's realized the real problem with stories. If you keep them going long enough, they always end in death. Neil Gaiman. I think about this particular passage of Sandman a lot. It was such a small part, but so powerful. I'm glad someone else thinks about it. 2. Edit. I spent all this time on Reddit trying to get enough karma to participate in an international snack exchange. But all I had to do was piggyback on someone else's superior comment. The duck. Reddit. Edit 2. I love you Reddit, and your nonsense. Unpredictable gilding. Thank you for the gold. That guy Peter from Divergent. He erased his memory and therefore was forgiven for all of the things he committed before. This is done so much better in a Stargate episode. Horrific mass murderer screws up killing a planet with a disease, gets infected herself and loses her memories. She then spends her time helping people on the planet and is horrified to learn what she has done before this. Edit. Have many requests for the episode so I looked it up. Season 3 episode past and present. Oh, that actually sounds super interesting. The Malfoys, specifically Lucius and Narcissa, they facilitated the return of Magic Hitler and he lived in their house. Tons of deaths are on their hands. And lest we forget, Lucius tried to kill Ginny with the diary in book 2 for shits and giggles. They both should have gone to Azkaban for life. On par with attempting to kill Ginny in Chamber of Secrets, the film version. Lucius attempts to use the killing curse on Harry, a 12-year-old boy, outside of Dumbledore's office. Did he think that was gonna end well for him? Side note, I duckin' love Jason Isaacs. Such a great actor. Paris Orlando Bloom in Troy. He got his whole family, city, and soldiers on the other side killed because he stole another man's wife. I am a big fan of love, but this guy was the worst. To be fair, in the original myths of the Trojan War, the humans don't really have a choice in what happens. OG Paris was still a coward and a weak-hearted fool. Apparently the creators of Supernatural don't think Sam and Dean deserve a happy ending. Meanwhile the fanfic writers want Sam and Dean to give each other a happy ending. I honestly never understood that. Shit was so bad they even brought it up in the show. Jerry from Tom and Jerry. That mouse was literally torturing an innocent cat because he felt entitled to food he didn't own. Tom was just doing his job and protecting the food and property of his owner, who happened to be a large black woman that would regularly beat the shit out of Tom because of the crap Jerry pulled and Tom got blamed for. Man. Kid me realized that the first time I watched an episode where Jerry just straight up antagonizes Tom. Like, not stealing food, or something Tom's obligated to react to. There are episodes where Jerry just pulls an itchy scratchy, walks out of his hole and drops something on a sleeping Tom. Beach ass mouse. Not to mention that little rat duck putting firecrackers in that big black lady's shoes and Tom getting the blame. In real life Big never would have ended up with Carrie. Came here to say Carrie, I love SATC but my god I hate Carrie lol. Yeah, because the guy who strings you along for 5 years during which time he marries a completely different person is totally going to come around and settle for you in the end. Claire in Jurassic World was an awful character with no redeeming quality whatsoever. She's an awfully written character, like a sloppy mashup of a Mary Sue and other tropes and or cliches. But as much as she deserves some criticism, she somehow gets criticism that isn't due. Specifically, I'm thinking of how she is criticized for working instead of running around the park with her nephews. With all the bullshit in these movies, the one thing people want to challenge is how young professionals working their way up the corporate ladder have to work excessive amounts of overtime. Are you shitting me? I hated Judy Greer's character way more. That ducking phone call to Claire made me want to throw something at the screen. Wah. I'm getting a divorce. Babysit my kids. Duck me. Open bracket. PS. I like Judy Greer, Bryce Dallas Howard, and Chris Pratt, but they just have to use the script they were given. Speaking of the kids, the fact that the movie even included them felt super forced and like they were just there because the Jurassic Park movies involved kids. I actually kind of gave somewhat of a shit about the kids in Jurassic Park because they were decent actors despite being a little annoying. But man, the children in Jurassic World were just unbelievably irritating. Jake Ryan and the Geek in 16 Candles. Jake Ryan and the Geek in 16 Candles kept reading that as Jack Ryan and was really confused. Edit. Wow. This comment blew up. I am glad I wasn't the only one confused. I finally made it in the Reddit world. He essentially helped the geek rape his own girlfriend. I didn't realize how fucked up that situation was until I watched it later on in life. Main character from Ready Player One. Spoilers, especially in the book version. He's a creepy stalker Naseguya who gets the girl by bombarding her with unrequested gifts, and continuing to be an incredibly creepy stalker throughout the story. Before the girl's even introduced, he spends at least a full chapter dedicated to how much he's obsessed with this person. Yes, I came here to say this. He was quite a bit better in the movie, but in the book he was such a overpowered stalker weirdo. Also, how the hell did he have time to watch thousands of movies, hundreds of TV shows, beat tens of thousands of games, become a guitar maestro, and be a full-time student? Dude never met a challenge in the entire story. It was bullshit. Also, way to use the giant robot power to easily take out Mechagodzilla after your friend got killed. Dong. Edit. To clarify, I'm referring to Shoto, not Dato. Ted ducking Mosby. From start to finish he was a terrible person, telling us how much his wife meant to him. And then when she dies he gets over it and ends up with Robin again. Duck that guy. I disagree with your reason. Many people don't like Ted as a character, but you're saying that Ted doesn't deserve a happy ending because he's looking for love again after his wife died. Widows and widowers date and remarry all the time. I got the impression from the show that the mother had been dead long enough for Ted and the kids to have grieved. If the mom had just died, then there's no way the kids would have supported him dating Aunt Robin. I think people take issue with the fact that the show is called How I Met Your Mother when it should be called Why I Want to Duck Your Aunt Robin. That's all. The show literally has duck all to do with the mother. I don't even know her name. She's barely a ducking footnote in the series, and WHCH she is one of two titular characters. Ted and her, the I and the mother. Uchiha Sasuke. Dude was a dong. Worse, he tried to kill everyone who loved him, and they for some reason still love him to the point where a girl he tried to kill married him. Dude tried to destroy his village and now he is welcomed back to the same village. WTF. Naruto. Remember when Kakashi and you said that people who abandon comrades are worse than scum? Edit. I love that people are trying to justify Sasuke's history with, he had a ducked up childhood he sought to save the world, he couldn't be contained anyway, he didn't abandon his friends because they didn't really need him at the time, everyone else also got second chances. Sorry, those aren't good enough. Dude basically became a terrorist and tried to assassinate multiple world leaders. Naruto, he's my friend. Sakura, I love him despite his murder attempts on me. Everyone okay? Lesson learned, I guess. Honestly, like half of the characters that made it to the end of Naruto had absolutely no business being there. Really, the tragic backstory meme seemed bad enough at the time, but I'd trade that any day for the obsession Naruto developed later on with giving its villains a redemption arc. Itoshi's reveal was great, but a major red flag for what was to come. Like what happened with Sasuke, though he isn't even the most egregious example. Remember Orochimaru, the big bad of the first half of the season? The guy who has committed the most horrific crimes against humanity ever seen in that entire universe? Open bracket. Which is really saying a lot. Yeah, turns out he was a good boy all along. Damn near flipped the table after I finished that part. Edit. I got a lot of responses in regards to my opinion on Orochimaru, so I'm just gonna put my response here. I was being a tad facetious when I said he was a good boy all along, but there's no denying he 100% got away with everything he did. The Joseph Mengele of the Naruto world is back to doing exactly what he was before as a villain, but now with a government sanction. The presence of guards is honestly irrelevant, because if Orochimaru decided to kill them and escape, the only question would be whether the guards would actually get a chance to defend themselves, not whether they could actually stop him. The only thing keeping Orochimaru in line is the presence of Naruto and Sasuke, who are more powerful than him. But at the same time, the nature of Orochimaru's abilities mean he is perfectly capable of simply waiting for them to die of old age or whatever before returning to being the world's most wanted man. But why would he? Again, he has everything he ever wanted now. Freedom to perform whatever horrific human experiments pop into his head, with the express permission of the world governments on top. Beyond that though, there's the fact that he's downright chummy with various characters he previously tried to kill and majorly ducked with. He's in Naruto and Hinata's wedding video, for Christ's sake. Don Draper. Dot. Pretty much any character from Mad Men. Really, it was a show about horrible people. You could never feel bad for the people who were being wronged because they were wronging other people in turn. He doesn't get a happy ending, though, or at least, the way I saw it is he was just going to go back to work with nothing changed about him, and keep on his bad habits and makes no improvement. I wouldn't really call that a happy ending. Exactly. The central question of the show is what makes Don Draper happy, and 7 seasons of drama make a strong case that the answer is nothing. He tries 100 different things: marriage to a model, marriage to someone he's highly compatible with, endless love affairs, alcohol, drugs, money, fame, spirituality, connecting with his children, and all of it only gives him a few fleeting moments of satisfaction. Anyone who thinks making one more great advertisement will give Don Draper lasting happiness missed the point. He's going to be chasing the next high his entire life. Nancy Botwin from Weeds. First season Nancy. Okay, you are in way over your head since your husband died and started dealing to try and maintain a lifestyle you clearly can't afford. Second season Nancy. You are so ducking lucky you aren't dead or in jail. Your actions and decisions had irreparably harmed people around you. Why the duck are you still doing this? Third season and beyond Nancy. You ducking selfish duckstick. The only reason you and your family aren't dead is because of a myriad of miracles that have been undeservingly bestowed upon you. I wish you nothing but unhappiness, and your family would be better off if you were dead. Andy ducked her on the lawn and then ran away. It was the best. Ted Mosby. His approach to love and women was shitty. He needed some actual deep self-discovery, not a constant search for a woman to complete him. Classic Schmosby. Not as bad as Lily and the shit she pulled on Marshall though. Zach Morris. Zach Morris is trash. Zach Morris looks like the kind of guy who would look at the camera and do the creepy smile and eyebrow raise when he sees a girl passed out on the floor. Show is still going, but the mom from Atypical, something about her just irks me. Felicity from Arrow. Tumblr and Twitter self-insert queen survives bullet wounds to spine. Becomes the most insufferable, quality degrading character that reduces a comic book show to murder its canon love interest twice and make it a soap opera. Nukes an entire city and gets off scot-free, even when they introduce a character from it. The Flash and Iris finally have their wedding, and after ruining the reception by screaming at Oliver she doesn't want to marry him, she interrupts Flash and Iris at the wedding vows to ask if she can marry Oliver, but no one calls her out. Girl is literally Steve Urkel too. Remember when Felicity only showed up once in a while and was quirky and funny? Yeah, that was great. I'm glad Emily Beth Rickards gets more screen time and exposure in her field of work, but the show could have worked so much better if Felicity was more of a downplayed Cisco. I stopped watching the show after season 4 and I don't think I want to bother with more. Remember that time she broke up with Oliver because he didn't tell her right away he had a son whose mother had hidden him from him for almost 10 years, but instead took some time to try and process it, and she did it right before everyone went to fight Vandal Savage and everyone died. Thank the Speed Force for Barry's time travel. Sarah from the first Land Before Time movie. She was a dong to Littlefoot like the entire time but still made it to the Great Valley. Where's Sharptooth when you need him? But she's just a child. As a kid I thought she was a dong, but she changed at the end. It also showed how kind Littlefoot is because he kept trying to help her. Scott Pilgrim. He cheats on his girlfriend, forgets almost everyone he meets, and doesn't change his act until he literally dies and goes to purgatory. He's an a-hole. So is Ramona. The entire plot is based around him being an ass and Ramona being one too. They're a-holes to each other, to other people, yet they don't realize it. Eventually they realize it and they get together and want to improve who they are together. We don't see Scott and Ramona's redemption. Instead we see the events which led them to realize they need to change. I felt like the comic was much better about explaining this. The movie was great but it skipped a lot of the character development. Angela from The Office. I disagree because I think the show realized that she didn't deserve one. That's why they humbled her by having her become homeless with a baby and basically hitting rock bottom. She seemed to become legitimately different through that experience. Angela was a beach the entire time. Karma definitely reared its ugly head with the senator. Nerds and Revenge of the Nerds. Like, that guy straight up rapes that girl. There's no ambiguity. Edit. It's disturbing how many people have replied who don't see it as rape. Tricking someone into having sex with you by making them think you're someone else means you're forcing someone to have sex with you without their consent. Probably the most infuriating I've seen. In 40 Days and 40 Nights the main character's ex-girlfriend rapes him while he's tied to the bed unconscious and gets paid for doing it. I believe she gets paid because there was a betting pool on whether he'd have sex before the 40 days end. And she just bet on the day she rapes him. The girl he's in love with sees this and blames him for cheating on her. She runs away while he's still tied to the bed. I think. Might be a bit after. Leaving him with his rapist. But he apologizes for being raped while he was tied down. And she forgives him, so there's a happy ending after all. The ex keeps the money as far as I know. Scene in question. https://www.youtube.com watch v equals wummy age 4 umo nsfw. She even sounds like a rapist. It's creepy as hell the way she says relax baby, it's over. Rachel Berry. She was supposed to be the outcast we were to feel sympathetic towards, but in reality she was just a manipulative, self-involved narcissist who couldn't bear to allow anyone else find any sort of satisfaction in their lives. Every problem she encountered was supposed to be this massive obstacle we were supposed to cheer her through, but she was the ducking engineer of all of those problems. She's an insufferable dunt to everyone in the show with whom she has a relationship. She deserved none of the happiness she ended up having at the end. I really do think that had Corey not passed away, the show would have ended completely different. I'd put money on Finn and Rachel getting back together. All in all though, Glee should have followed this formula. First 3 seasons are of the OG Glee members. Then when the new ones get ushered in, the story follows them for a while. Then maybe the last few parts of the final season we could get a few reuniting episodes. I was over the OG characters by the beginning of the final season. I really didn't enjoy the NYC arc like I thought I would. Even Mercedes, who I really enjoyed early on and longer than the others, I grew tired of. I think Santana is the only one who really deserved the ending she got. There was a lot of character development for her through the whole show. Anne Hathaway's boyfriend in The Devil Wears Prada. All he does is bagger her for working hard to achieve her goals. He's pretty much a dong to her the entire movie. How dare her work hard towards the career she wants. The scene in the restaurant where she gives them all super nice freebies then they play keep away with her phone as her boss is calling her always pisses me off. She's nothing but nice to her group of friends and they all mock her for her situation. Her female friend is the most ungrateful dunt. Oh, you just gave me a $900 bag? Well, I won't even say thank you and then I'll try and steal your phone and talk to Miranda. And how dare you show up 5 minutes late to my shitty art show. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.